At what point does one become responsible for their life? Yes, it's Thursday. It's another thankful Thursday. Health, strength, and your ability to create wealth. What are you thankful for? This Thursday, I'm thankful for responsibility. The act or the state or the fact of having a duty to deal with something or having control over someone. In this case, yourself. Or the state of being held accountable to be blamed for something. Yes, the question arises, at what point does one become accountable for their life? We're taking into account all of the factors, the way they were growing up, the family they're in, where they live, all of those decisions. But my question to you is, at what point do you become responsible for your life? I'll never forget something that my older brother told me. He says that the man or woman becomes responsible, or man or woman becomes an adult when they take responsibility for their life. And a lot of people could spin it, twist it, they could shake it, however they want to do with that statement. But the underlying tone that I got from the statement is this. The minute you start to take responsibility, and the minute you start to be held accountable for where your life is and the direction that it's going, based on the decisions that you make or don't make, is when you become an adult. When we look at various situations, arrangements, contracts, businesses, there's a responsibility when you enter inside a store and you're purchasing something. You're paying a particular price, and it's their responsibility to actually provide that good that you're paying for to them, whether it's a service or anything else. Whether it's something that you enter in some type of partnership, you come to agreement, whether it's on paper. Most times we want it on paper. In case something goes awry, you have something to show. Here's what the next person is supposed to bring to the table. Here's what they brought to the agreement. Here's what they said that they would do. For a lot of people, they make excuses and they find the cop-outs as to why they can't or why they don't do what they said that they're going to do. And the question now is this: who holds them accountable? Because the responsibility is totally up to them to do or not to do. Responsibility is so important because the first person that you should be responsible for is yourself. Where your life is going, the plans that you make for it, the strategies and all of the techniques that you put in place to achieve the things that you want. When it comes to the relationships that you have, when it comes to the finances that you're trying to achieve, manage, and budget, all of that is your responsibility. And for most times, we take it for granted because we come up with all of these, quote unquote, I like to call family excuses because, oh, the government doing this to the country, or, oh, this is how I was raised, or you don't understand what I went through. Okay, so at what point do you say, yes, based on all of those factors, now I am going to devise a plan to help me get from step A to step B, to get me out of the situation that I don't like? You may probably grow up in a house where they didn't teach you how to cook. At what point do you say, I'm responsible for learning how to feed myself? Maybe you don't have to learn how to cook, but you would make sure that there's food in the house. You'd make sure that there's somewhere for you to eat. You don't just sit back and say, well, nobody taught me how to get something to eat, and you just sit and complain, because you're responsible actually for yourself. And when we start to understand that responsibility, we take the power away from the excuses. We put them on the table and we realize something. The buck stops with us. The choices that we have to make, we have to realize that we have to make them in the best determining situation and understand it has to be in our best interest. Whether you sign up to be a volunteer as an organization and you understand, here's the duties. You show up on time, here's what you're supposed to do in this role. And if it's becoming too much for you, you respectfully remove yourself and say, hey, I can't volunteer for this position anymore. Regardless of what it is, you sometimes don't even have to give them a reason, but don't take on the position and don't show up. That's irresponsible. Because when you signed up, you said, I agree to these responsibilities. Responsibility. Whether you're at work, whether you're at home, whether you're in a relationship, whether in your non-profit organization, you have to understand that there's a responsibility for everybody that plays a part in it. And most times, as the leader, you're responsible for first your life, the team, the purpose, and the vision as to what you're trying to accomplish. Wherever it is, wherever you're trying to go, you have to do it. You have to take accountability for it, plot that course, and get it on the way. Yes, it's another Thankful Thursday. Health, strength, and your ability to create wealth. Go out there and be thankful, but most of all, be responsible for your life.